Hi Stampin' friends, this is Melissa the Stamp Doc. Today I want to share with you my July 2025 card club projects. This month we are going to be using the Sweet Jar stamp set and also the coordinating punch to create 8 cards, 2 each of 4 different designs. And I'm going to walk you through those 4 cards step by step. But first, to tell you a little bit about Card Club, you can always sign up between the 1st and the 20th of each month. It costs $39.99 and that includes your supplies as well as your shipping. So you will need the stamp set, the dies or punches that go along with that stamp set, any ink, any adhesive, and then everything else paper-wise is provided for you. I always like to include some Stampin' Up! Product, and this month you'll be getting the white ribbon and the in color flat pearls. And then your card club projects come packaged individually. So as I told you, there are 4 different cards and you make 2 of each design. We'll just be making 1 of each during the video today so that you can see those. If the die or punch that is included in the card is not part of the featured die or bundle, I do include that for you. So you'll see I've got some of those already pre-cut there. So let's get started with card number 1. And I decided to feature a lot of the new in colors on these projects as well. So I'm going to sort this out because this one's already set up for 2. So you see I've got 1 piece of paper there. You do get your envelopes, and then we'll need 1 white piece, circle, and a little banner. And then we have our designer series paper that's also been cut as well. Okay, so we have everything we need there, and we're going to need our little jar stamp. So I'm going to start with that. Let me grab my block over here. And I'm going to put that on my block. I do include some scrap paper so that you have paper to stamp with. And we're going to do the little jar right here at the edge. Just like that. All right, I'm going to leave that stamp aside. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and stamp 4 more of those, or 3 more of those, so that we have the rest of them done. And we can clean that stamp and then move on to the next. Get that really good. And just in case we make a mistake, let's do some extras there. All right, now I can go ahead and clean that stamp and we can put it aside. All right, so we don't need that one anymore. And on this one, we're going to do some chocolate chip cookies. So I'm going to start. There's a little background piece on this stamp set, and we're going to use it on quite a few of these cards. So this is what we're going to start with, and I'm going to use pecan pie. And this creates just kind of a light background for it. And I'm going to stamp that up and then stamp off. And then stamp it there. And it's going to create just like a little shadow there. I'm just kind of, so it doesn't have to be perfect. We, in fact, don't want it to be perfect. And then I'm going to do these little oval shapes here. And you'll see they're kind of different. We're going to just ink those up full strength and stamp that directly over it. Just going to hold that for a second, lift it up, and then as our final piece of the chocolate chip cookies, we're also going to do these little dots. So you can really use any shade of brown that you like on those, but I did like the way the pecan pie looked. And then we're just going to stamp basic black over that. And that makes that look just like chocolate chip cookies. It's a kind of fun little thing there. Now we have a couple other things we're going to have to stamp. So we need a lid for our jar, and we also are going to need a little greeting. So my greeting on this one is just a little treat for you. And I believe that's this one right here. Let's see, hard to tell when it's clear. And I'm going to do that with Secret C. And just put that on there. So we've got that done. And then I'm also going to stamp the lid of our jar. So I'm just gonna ink that up in Secret C. I'm gonna put that along the edge here, just like that. Now you could also punch that out of cardstock if you prefer. That works just as well. So we have all of our stamping done for card number 1. Let me get these punched. And if you turn your punch upside down, you can see exactly where that needs to line up. And get that punched. And then get it punched over here. There we go. All right. Now I could also have used this little piece and stamped on that. For some people, working it that way does really well. So I just kind of prefer to do it the other way. So I'm going to fold my cardstock in half. And I'm going to use some of my multi-purpose liquid glue. I'm just going to put this white piece on there. And like I said, everything's pre-cut for you, but you do receive a PDF tutorial that has all the measurements. So if you want to recreate these cards later, you are free to do that. And we're going to add our designer series paper here over at the side, just like that. And then I want to put my 2 circles together. Put them right there. And I have this one. I'm going to just add it like that. And you could run that the other way if you like that too. And I'm going to put my lid on my jar. I just like to put a little tiny bit of glue right along the top there and set that in place. All right, I'm going to add my dimensionals on the back here. This, and we'll put another dimensional there, and a little bit of adhesive over here so it kind of overlaps with our jar. And then I also want to add just a couple of dots on here. So again, you get these included in your kit. And then one final thing I'm going to do is add just a little bit of ribbon. I'm going to tie a bow here. And this is where you can get creative too. You don't have to do this exactly as I have done. You can do it however you want it done. But because you have these embellishments, you can do that however you like. So I'm just going to put that right up there, put a little dot of glue, and I'll show you my other sample so you can see how I did it. I did tie on this one, I did tie it completely around this piece. So you could do that, or you could do it this way, and this will lay it a little bit flatter for easier mailing. So whichever way you choose, no way is wrong. So feel free to do those however you like, but you will have 2 of those cards, so you can play around with that however you like. All right, on to our next card. So this one, get our supplies ready here. And with this one, we're going to be using the color Shy Shamrock, which is another new-ish in color. It's from last year. And again, we'll have 2 of each, enough to make 2 of each card. And let me get all my pieces there. Perfect. I'm going to put the rest of them in here. And I'm going to start this one with our Shy Shamrock. So I want to do that same background piece that we did before. And again, I'm going to stamp off first. Just like so. And then put that lighter piece right down there. And then we have these really cute little shamrocks. And we're going to do those at full strength. And then off. And before we finish that, I want to do our little greeting. And I'm going to stamp that first in black. And this says sending a little, and then it's got a space on it, and then your way. So you can put different things on that. And so we're going to use the word luck. I'm going to stamp luck right in there in that same Shy Shamrock to come up with our greeting. All right. And then, just to add a little bit of interest to our card, I also want to do, well, I do need to do a lid. So we're going to do a Shy Shamrock lid. So we'll have that to cut out. And then there's a single shamrock that I want to do a few in the corners here. So I'm just going to put a few up here, just randomly, and then a few down lower here. And it's so cute how everything in this little stamp set coordinates together. So I've got those both ends. All right, we have all of our stamping done for this card, so we're ready to say goodbye to Shy Shamrock. And we can start assembling our card. So this one, I'm going to go ahead and put my Designer Series paper onto this layer. And I'm going to go ahead and use my ribbon on this one. So here I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to measure 3 times the width here. And I'm just going to tie that around and trim it down into a knot. So if you want to do a bow instead, if you measure 4 times the length, that works really well. But I'll show you my original that has the bow. But I do want to show you, you have options with all of these. And just trim that down a little bit more. And then this piece will go in the center. I'm just putting a little extra adhesive on there so it'll stick really well. Got that there. Oops, our little ribbon end was coming on there. So you can see we just got our little Shy Shamrocks peeking out. I'm going to grab my punch again and punch out my jar. And the lid here. And again, I'm just going to put that little bit of adhesive right along the top. And put our lid on. Perfect. we're going to take a dimensional and put this right in the middle of our greeting. Put that up here at the top. And then we have a couple of dimensionals on the back of this guy. Yep. I hate it when they stick together like that. Those little dimensional backings get everywhere. If you know, you know. I had one dog that used to always have one on her nose. I don't know how she managed to pick that up all the time, but she did. And then we're just going to set him right here. And of course, we can't forget to add our embellishments. So this one has a little bit of the cloud cover in it, so I decided to use those. Oops, let me pick that up. I'm using the Take Your Pick tool to pick up my embellishments. I just find it's easier to get those in place. And there is my completed card. And the original that I did has a little bow. You can do either one. I also just cut the cardstock for this one. You could do it either way. I kind of like it with the stamped, but again, you do have some creativity that you can do with these, and you can make them however you like. All right, let's go to our next card. And this one also uses some of our new in colors. This one uses Timid Tiger and Darling Duckling, which work really well together. And it works great with the paper that we've got here too. So we've got all of that. And I think that's it for that one. So let me set that aside. Oh, I guess I needed one of those designer series papers. There we go. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the base of this together. I'm gonna go ahead and put this and this on there. And again, I'm gonna do this one a little bit differently than my original design, just so you can see another way of doing it. Got a little too much, a little heavy-handed with my glue there. All right, and we're gonna layer that on. Don't you see how beautiful those colors look together? Perfect. Oh, and I'm almost out of ribbon, so I guess that's probably the last I get to do of any ribbon, which that's okay. We are gonna be quite all right with that. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna just put a little bit of adhesive this way, and I am going to take it like this, and this, and this, just like so. I'm just gonna let that kind of sit like that, okay? So you can see how that is. And remember that sending a little, we're gonna use that stamp again. Let me find my block. I'm hoping you can't hear my little puppy going crazy on his food bowl. He's acting like he never gets fed. We just got a new puppy, gosh, 2 weeks ago. He's doing great, but he is a little noisy sometimes. All right, I'm gonna have to use this block. So we're gonna do sending a little over here to the side, because we're gonna have one of our jars right there. And we want the word party. And I am gonna use Timid Tiger for that. So mine's a little crooked, but that's okay. Yeah, now you can hear the squeaky toy. So yes, you know I have a puppy, right? All right. Now our next thing here is we're going to do some candles in one of our jars. So I am going to start with the Timid Tiger. And I'm gonna use this set of 3 candles, and I'm just gonna put them right there. Oh, let me get this centered a little better for you. Oops, I'm losing my spot here. Let me bring it up. There we go. You can see that better. I'm gonna go right there in the middle, like that. And I just found my smaller one, so we're gonna get our strawberry slush out because I find that that color looks really well. And we have a single candle stamp. And I'm just gonna add some additional candles. So I'm gonna put one next to it over here. I'm gonna put one right in between there. And then I'm also gonna do one over here to the side so that we've just got a few candles. And then finally, we have a little, I guess like a little candle flicker. I'm gonna use a small block for that because it's really a tiny stamp. And that one I'm gonna use Darling Duckling for. And we're just going to do a little candle flicker on a few of those. So it's kind of hard to get all of them done. There's just not really space for all of them to get lit on fire. So you can see right there. All right. And then I need, oh, I forgot to get my Timid Tiger lid done. So let's do a lid with that. Lots of stamping on this one. So I'll get that lid on there, and we should be good to finish our card. So we'll do our lid. And our jar. So again, everyone that is in Card Club, these generally ship around the 26th through the 27th of the month. It really just depends on when the supplies come in. But you do have to sign up by the 20th of the month. So as I'm posting this video, there's really only a couple of days left to get signed up. And I will put the link in the comments. If it tells you that registration's closed, then you'll have to just sign up for my newsletter and be ready to sign up for next month's Card Club. But every month we do 8 cards, and we do have a featured bundle. All right, I'm gonna leave that off because we're gonna have to put this on there. So I'm gonna put this on. Like so. And yes, my puppy is being ornery while I'm on doing this. So we've got that. And then we're going to put our little jar on top. And it kind of looks like a party with all of the little ribbon peeking out that way. And then go in and I'm going to add some of my dots. Again, you'll have a lot of these left over, so if you want to make more cards, you'll definitely be able to do that. I'm going to put one up here. There we go. So on my original card, I actually tied the ribbon all the way through and just did a little knot. And on this one, we just kind of did the little rotating. All right, and our final card. Actually, I really do love this one. And I'm going to have to skip the ribbon completely because I am out of ribbon. But Strawberry Slush, I think, is actually my favorite new color. I'm kind of a sucker for pink anyway, but I really do love it. So as you can see, again, this is another die cut. This is from the Nested Essentials dies, and I've already pre-cut that for you. So just as you see everything here, I will pre-cut and score your cardstock for you. Everything is just as it should be. So we're gonna get our paper on. Oops. Oopsie, oopsie. Let me get that out of there. All right. And our designer series paper. A lot of times in Card Club, I do give you almost like a half pack or even sometimes a full pack of designer series paper. It really just depends on the projects that we're doing. But this month I really wanted you to have a lot of embellishments, so that's why you're getting the ribbon and you're getting the other. So on this one, I'm going to do the saying that says "Miss You Bunches," which is this one right here. And we're going to put it at the very bottom of this banner. Just like that. And I'm also going to do my lid in black. So I'll go ahead and stamp that. And let me just show you, you could do this where you line it back up into your punched area and then do that. So you can definitely do them that way. That works. I don't always feel confident doing it that way. All right, and then we need our strawberry slush ink pad. And our jars over here. And of course, this time we're going to use the hearts. So I'm going to start with that background first and stamp it off as we've done, so that we're doing what we call second generation stamping. It just ends up that lighter color. And then we're going to do the hearts themselves at full strength. And I think the hearts are my favorite. I think this is adorable that way. There we go. Oops, oops. Oh well. It's the back. We don't need the back, do we? And we're going to punch that out. See how cute that is? Perfect. I'm going to put a little glue here, maybe. Put my little thing there. And then we're going to put some dimensionals on the back of this little banner piece while the other dries. And again, I didn't use any ribbon on this, but you could do it any of the ways I've shown you. You could do a bow, you could do a little knot, you could do that however you like. I just want to give you some options there. We'll put dimensionals on the back of our jar. Maybe we'll just put a couple of extra little dots on this one, since we ran out of ribbon. So we've got that, right like that. And I always like to do my embellishments in odd numbers. So if I'm going to do a couple of extra, I would do 5 instead of 3. And let's go one more up here. There we go. And to show you, so much like what I did on the last card where I did the ribbon back and forth, that's what I did on my original. And then on this one, I just left that with no ribbon. So again, no way is wrong. You can do that any way that you like. And by the time you get done with Card Club, you have 8 cards that you can send. And so I try to make them all occasion. And this little stamp set is a perfect all occasion stamp set. So I would love to have you join us from Card Club. There's no long-term commitment. You can pause it or cancel it at any time. But again, it's $39.99 a month. Everything is pre-cut, scored for you, ready to go. You just need to be able to do your stamping and embellishing and just have fun and enjoy a card making experience. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.